Well, hi everyone and welcome. It's good to see some familiar faces, and it's also really good to see some new faces joining us. My name is Susan Stewart and I'm chair of the ECIS MLIE committee. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to share a PowerPoint at the moment, but then there will be very much lots of opportunity for talking in a minute. Super. Right. Can you all see that?
It's loading.
Yeah.
Is it there?
Not yet.
Yeah, it's coming.
Okay. Well, the topic of today's talk, let me know when it is loaded, is working with students who are new to English, which is obviously a topic probably dear to many of our hearts at this time of the year. And again, just while it's loading, if you've not attended a meetup before, the purpose of meetups really is for us to have an opportunity between the big conferences that we normally organize, just to connect. And you know, the power of the Zoom world is that we can connect across time zones and across schools in ways we couldn't before. And it's really an opportunity for us to share with one another. Super. Is it shared right now, or do I need to know something?
No, maybe if you click out of it and try again.
Yeah, I'm going to try again. Super. Okay. Lovely. Okay.
Looks like something's happening.
Oh, that's great.
Let's see. There it is. Yeah.
Super. Yay. Brilliant. Okay. So welcome. I'm joined today by almost all of our co-committee members. So maybe I'll just, in the order that you guys are on the screen, do you want to just say a hi and introduce yourselves?
Okay, I'm Deb Perrin, and I lead provision for EAL at the British School in the Netherlands for 3 to 18.
Hi, I'm Alison Malel. I'm at Luanda International School in Angola. I'm the lower primary ELL teacher and whole school home language coordinator.
Hello, my name is Mindy McCracken. I'm working at the International School of The Hague, and I am the primary EAL leader.
Super. And unfortunately, Patience had to attend a meeting today on map testing, unfortunately, so she couldn't join us from her school in Germany. Maybe this could be just a good moment because there are quite a few of us. If you want to, in the chat box, just maybe say hi and let us know where you're currently located. That could be good. And maybe with a physical show of hands, do you want to let us know if this is your first time joining an ECIS MLIE meeting? Hi, so welcome Talia. Welcome, is it Jungnich? Did I say that correctly? Hi, so super that you're joining us. Perfect. Hi, Rebecca. Is that your first time too? Brilliant. Excellent. And I can see a guy, I can't see your name. Super nice to have you with us too. So how it's going to work today is we've already done 5 minutes of welcomes. We're going to do contrary to what we've done in the past, we're going to do a little mini talk today. It's going to be some of the committee members just doing a really rapid fire mini talk on the topic, which will hopefully just get everyone sort of thinking. Obviously, you know, a big part of being part of a community like us is we're all coming from different contexts. And so what we'll be sharing is what we think is most important in our context. It would be great once we get to discuss a bit more. How does it work in your school? We'll then, after that, go into 3 breakout sessions where you'll be randomly put together with 2 other people. And we're going to give you a kind of guiding question for each of those breakout sessions. We've also set up a Padlet where we have in the past, you know, gathered sort of thoughts and feedback from participants. So maybe this would be a good time If you go into the chat, I think you'll see that there's a link to the Padlet. So this could be a good time for you just to already click onto that, onto the Padlet, so you have it open and ready for when we start. Brilliant. Thanks. And Mindy has just put it there. Brilliant. And again, super nice to have so many people for joining us from a little bit all over Europe today. And I did notice there were some people coming from further afield too, even Asia. So thanks for joining us, because I'm aware it's really late in the evening there. Okay, so off we go. Okay, so what we did as a committee was we thought, what is the most important thing when you're working with students new to English? And we came up with 10 things, and we thought we would just share our thoughts with you. What were the 10 things we thought were most important? Child who's new to English, first and foremost, reassure the parents that everything's going to be okay. As we know, a confident, happy parent often translates into a confident, happy child that comes into our school. And that's really that foundation for a good start to schooling in English. Next to that is to reassure the actual student, because even if the parent is happy and confident, sometimes children, and we know it might be dependent on their personality, their story, let them know that it is going to be okay. Let them know it's okay that they don't understand everything in class, that it's normal to only understand 10 or 20% in the beginning. Let them know that we don't expect them to do the same amount of homework or the same assignments as the other classmates. Constantly reassure them that all of this is entirely normal. I find a good way of reassuring students is to point out to them some of their classmates who were exactly like them a year or two before, for them to know that this is a phase that many of their classmates have also gone through. Number 3, know their story. I have a personal hatred for the question, where do you come from, or nationalities, because I think when we reduce our students to that, often we don't know enough about them to get to know them, but also to work with them in a clever way. The 2 simple questions I love to ask students and to know about is, where have you lived and what languages do you speak? Intertwined often in that question is, what kind of school did you go to? Were you going to a bilingual school in Spain? Were you going to an international school but in Thailand? All of those things will tell me a little bit about that student's story. All of these things, at least in my role in the school I'm in, is all of those things happen before the students even started school. I know their story before they start, and I share their story with my colleagues so that they too can come armed with some knowledge in the beginning. It doesn't mean along the way you don't have to go back again and reassure the students and reassure the parents, but having that done before they even start on that first day often sets them up for success. Number 4, know their passions. So, for every student, if you know just 1 or 2 things that they love doing, that they're proud of, and then knowing that you can use that to connect and build their language around that is so powerful. Number 5, have them find a friend. And in the beginning, you're a little bit playing that matchmaking game, but making sure that that student feels like they have a friend, so that they're not locked out socially from the rest of their classmates. Number 6.
Okay, so number 6 is an area that we work with a lot of energy on in my school. We know that children coming in with very little English still know quite a bit from their previous school. They have a lot of knowledge to offer in their home language, and we don't want them to fall behind the learning while they're gradually learning English. So we encourage our students who are new to English to begin working in home language straight away. We tap into Google Translate to ensure that students can get the core message or the essence of a task they need to complete. and they complete this task in their home language. And if it's done through the translator, we can see their thinking out the other side, and we can see if they're following the core concepts in the classroom. And we want that learning to be at the level of their brain. So whether that's upper or lower school, whether that's taken through Google Speaker buttons, it's done through drawings and labeling, or it's done through the writing of the children in upper school, we want to make sure that they can keep up and they feel that they're part of what is happening in class. And as the English grows more and more, and they begin to work more and more in English, there has been no gap along the way. So linked to that, what can be very helpful, because you can't always take everything through the translator, is to place your students in classrooms where they have a language buddy, because a language buddy is someone they can chat with to see if they're on track with where the lesson is headed. And they can be more closely involved with your new student than you as the class teacher, because you have to have the overview of your class. It's not always possible, but very helpful. And if you cannot find a language buddy, if you have a TA in the area that can be brought in, if you have a secondary student that can be brought in from time to time, we want to keep children connected with the learning, but also feeling happy, comfortable, and safe with someone to talk to if they really need to on the emotional side. It's also very important in these early stages how you interact with students who are new to learning a language. We know that our new students are going through a lot of change. The language is only one part of that. They could be encountering many different cultures. They're still moving houses. Everything can be really topsy-turvy. And we want language learning to be something that is risk-free. We need them to feel comfortable and to feel safe. And therefore, we need to praise every effort they make towards this goal. Over to you, Susan.
Yes, yeah. So point number 9, I always like to say, know that acquisition is happening even when it's not visible. And I always use this image to illustrate both to students and to parents of what a student looks like. And of course, there is the other languages there often, and it is developing and the child is acquiring things, but it's not necessarily visible at the moment. But what everybody tends to focus on, and I would say probably teachers are the most guilty, is that tip of the iceberg. It's the child that's speaking, or the child that's in particular reading and writing. That's what we all want as teachers. But that's not what we should be focusing on, in particular in those early stages for a child new to English. We know over time that triangle will pierce the surface of the water. And probably linked to that is just be patient. Many of us are familiar with the number of years that has been stated that it takes to develop social language and academic language. But it is good, to remind everyone, again, parents, students, and colleagues, just to be patient. Because again, going back to how we started, any kind of pressure put on a child is only going to almost slow down their ability to acquire English at this point.
Yes, Susan, I'd just like to say there as well, I think that's a key one, and especially for the parents, because I think the parents are always, that's really anxious at the beginning. They're wanting their child to learn English as quickly as possible. And I always remind them of, I say to them, remember when you first started learning English or another language, think of the journey that you went on, how many years it took you, how you began, what strategies helped you, just to try and take the pressure, to tell them to take the pressure off their child. Because obviously, if they're anxious about it, then like you said before, then their child will be anxious as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. Super. Right. So we are going to head now to our first breakout room. These are the 3 questions, which you can also see in the Padlet, which we're hoping will just generate a bit of conversation between you and 2 other people. You'll have about 12 or 13 minutes in that breakout room. So do take the time to introduce yourselves, maybe share your context. And then if possible, maybe assign one person or 2 of you to just write a few thoughts as you're discussing. into the Padlets, and then we'll magically bring you back after that before heading to the next question. Does anyone have any questions before we head out? Super. All right. So Abby, we are joined today. I did not introduce you in the beginning, also by Abby, who's hiding behind the ECIS logo. Abby, if you're familiar with ECIS, works with ECIS and has kindly joined us today to be our tech support. Abby, we're ready to go if that's okay. Time is up as always, it flies by. Thank you so much for being with us. Super, perfect. Can you see that?
Yes.
Super. Okay. So thank you so much for joining us. For those of you who have friends who are further afield, what we decided to do this year was we were aware we were a bit Eurocentric last year. So what we're doing is we're doing a repeat every time of the Thursday. So the second Thursday of every month's meetup, we do it on the Tuesday of the next week at 9 a.m. UK time, which then allows people in the Middle East and Asia to join us. So do share that out in the communities. Our next meetup is in November. There we're going to be talking language acquisition, how to talk about it. So going over a little bit of vocabulary, a little bit of theory, and then turning that theory into how to talk about it with students, with families. So do register to join us. Also, if you're not connected with us on social media, do follow us on Twitter, on Facebook. We tend to post something probably every 2-3 days, useful links here and there. Is anyone coming to the Teachers Conference in November in London? Shout out if you are, because I can't see everyone.
Could you tell us what the name of it is, Susan?
Yeah, sure. If you actually just Google ECIS Teachers Conference, you will be able to find it. It's on the main page of the ECIS website. So if you happen to be based in London, it's going to be a really, really good meeting, first face-to-face teachers conference in a few years. The committee will all be there, apart from, unfortunately, Alison, who's just too far away. So we will be doing a presentation on working with multilingual learners. So there are quite a few language-based presentations.
I just put the link to the conference in the chat, Susan.
Thanks so much, Ta.
Mm-hmm.
We do, if you don't know, ECIS MLIE, we do organize normally every 2 years a big conference, but obviously the last few years, the last conference was in 2019 in London. Was anyone there? Oh, okay, it is the best conference. Again, follow us, because we will be announcing very soon our next face-to-face conference. Any comments or questions before we close up? Super. Would you mind if we take a screenshot of us online, just because that's quite nice? Mindy, are you able to do that like you normally do?
Yep, let me just first get ready, and then I will say 1, 2, 3 so people can smile. 1, 2, 3, here we go. Okay, I got it.
Brilliant, thank you so much. Pleasure to meet you all. Padlet stays open, so keep chatting, and hope to see you next month again. Bye now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're
Cheers,
welcome.
bye.